Hi there. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to find the volume of a rectangular prism and where that volume formula comes from initially. So let's look at the volume of this simple 3D rectangular prism. Volume, we should remember, is the amount of space that an object takes up in our world, in our universe. And when we measure the volume, we measure in units 3. We call that cubed. Now, why is it units 3? Because unlike perfectly flat shapes, where we're measuring area, in real life, objects have 3 dimensions. That's where the term 3D comes from. They have width and they have length. And those are the two things that we're used to measuring when we're measuring area, but they have an additional dimension because now they're real. They also have a height. So we have 3 dimensions to look at: length, width, and height. So looking at this shape, if we simply count the cubes that make it up, we have a pretty good idea about what the volume is. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in this case, the volume equals 12 units cubed, right there. What we need to remember, though, is that our shapes will not always have nice, well-defined cubes that we can look at to measure them. Most of the time, even rectangular prisms are not going to have simple cubes that we can count. We need to have another way to do it, and that other way to do it involves using our length, width, and height. So let's take a look at if we add a second layer here. So now we've added a second layer to our rectangular prism. Now, we'll notice that the width and the length remain the same. The width is 3, the length is 4. But we've had a change here. The height is now 2 units, where before it was only 1. Now we know that this yellow base of the rectangular prism is 12 cubic units. We should also then be able to figure out that this second level, which appears to be exactly the same shape and size as the level that it sits upon, is also going to be 12 cubic units, which means that our volume is going to be 12 plus 12, 24 cubic units. That's our volume. So really what I did just now is I found the volume of the first layer, 12, and I found the volume of the second layer, 12. I did 2 sets of 12, 2 times 12. That's going to be important in a minute, because what we're going to look at is how can we find a formula to find the volume of these shapes. So here again we have added another layer to this shape. Now again, I need to keep in mind this bottom layer was 12 cubic units. The next layer was 12 cubic units. So this top layer, again exactly the same shape and size, is going to be 12 cubic units. Altogether, that's going to equal 36 cubic units. But as we know, we're not always going to be able to just count it out. We're going to have large numbers, and we're going to have shapes that are not easily defined by little cubic shapes inside. We're going to need to be able to use numbers to help us figure this out. So let's look at this answer, 36, and see if we can use that to help us figure out the formula. So I know my volume is going to be 36 cubic units. Let's put that up there and keep it, because that's going to be important. But what I really did was I found the volume of the first level, which was 12, by multiplying the width times the length. The width was 3 and the length was 4. And then I just kept adding them on. But we know that when we add on in math, what we're really doing, that's the early stages of multiplying. Multiplying is the way that we add on, but in a much more quick and efficient manner. So what we've done instead is we've now raise this 3 levels off the ground. The height is 3. So what I really need to do is find the base. 4 times 3, which equals 12 cubic units, sorry. And then I need to multiply that by the height. So 12 cubic units multiplied by 3 equals 36 cubic units. Again, look what I did here. This part of the equation is the length times the width. Okay? And then here, where I've multiplied by 3 again, this refers to the height because this prism is 3 units tall. So what I've really done is I've taken the width and the length, multiplied them together, and then multiplied that answer by the height. So what I have right here is a formula that I can use to help me. I take the length and the width and find that multiplied by the height, or simply length times width times height. Let's try it out. So let's take a look at this rectangular prism. The width is 3 units. The length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, and the height is 4 units. So, to use my expression, to use my formula, I'm simply going to do the length times width times height. So in this case, I'm going to do the length, which was 5, multiplied by the width, which was 3, multiplied by the height, which is 4, and that's going to equal 60. Now remember, this is a real life 3D object, so it's going to be 60 units cubed, not 60 units square. 60 units cubed because it now has width, length, and height. 3 dimensions, and those 3 dimensions make it a cubic unit, a unit to the power of 3. Okay, now it's your turn to try one. Here's another rectangular prism. If we take a good look at it, we can notice that the width equals 2 units, the length equals 5 units, and now the height equals 4 units. Now pause the video right now, take a second, and see if you can figure out the calculations. I'll wait for you. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a look and see what you did. Hopefully you remembered that the formula now for volume is length times width, so finding the volume of the base, times height, multiplying that by the number of levels you have. So length multiplied by width multiplied by height. So in this case, if we look at it, the length is 5 units, the width is 2 units, and the height is 4 units. So our calculation would be 5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 4. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, and 10 multiplied by 4 is 40. So our final answer would be 40 cubic units. Volume equals 40 cubic units. Did you get it? Hope so. If not, test with a few other rectangular prisms. You can measure some at home, you can build some with snap cubes, and if you have Minecraft, you can tell your parents that you've got to use Minecraft to solve a math equation. They'll totally believe that. Good luck finding the volume.